Good evening and welcome to the Housing Committee. Today is Wednesday, December 14, 2022. Voting members to my right, Councilor at Large, Selena Reyes, and Councilor District E, Stephanie Infante. Myself, Councilor District D, Giovanni Rodriguez, the Chair. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of the Housing Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that a person who would like to listen or to view this meeting while in progress might either attend in person at the location above or any of the following access locations: the Facebook Lawrence City page, Lawrence City Council, and the YouTube Lawrence City Council. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, we have a few items tonight in front of us. The first one on the agenda, I would like to get a motion to approve the minutes from 11/9/2022. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
All right, we have a motion to table. Properly second. Now I call the roll call. Councilor Infante?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So, councilors, we have a few items. Like I said, the first one on the agenda is going to be item 42222, which is the declaration of surplus of 1517 Saunders Street. It was put together by Frank Cervello, the access officer of the city of Lawrence. Just a few things about this property. This property is located on 1517 Saunders Street. The lot area for this property is 7,700 square feet. The deed book is 1829, the page 253. The residential zoning is R3. It's a vacant lot. The access value for this property is $84,700. This is currently a buildable parcel, and the current situation that we are dealing tonight is the declaration of the surplus. So now I would like to extend the opportunity to Frank Cervello to extend or respond to any questions that the councilor might have. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, council members, and committee chair. Frank Cervello, 824 Riverside Drive, Methuen, asset officer for the city of Lawrence. As you well know, this property, before we could start having the discussions of how to disperse properties, we have to have them first declare surplus. 1517 Saunders Street is a property that has, we're here to make sure that to get it to declare surplus before we can move on to the next stage of meeting with people to see what the best use sale for the property is.
Is the intention to do an RFP and proposal, or
right now, based on the assessed value is most likely going to be an RFP process, because anything over 35,000 and up has to be RFP.
All right, councilors, there is any questions in regard to the to this item, the 42222? Councilor Infante? Just give them 1 second for that, for your mic to go on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I couldn't really hear the summary. Do you mind just repeating what he said, please?
Can you repeat what you said?
The whole thing, or which part? Okay. Before we can start having conversations, I look what the best way to do. Okay. Before we could start having this conversation of how to distribute any property, be a yard sale, direct disposition, or RFP, the property has to be declared surplus. As you well no, the assessed value for this particular property is over $35,000, so it has to go through the RFP process. And before we start having that conversation, we need a declaration of surplus for 1517 Saunders Street.
There is any questions in regard to this item? So this is a declaration of surplus, the first step for the city to move forward with any other process. Something important to mention is that on the effort of ensuring that the city have no need for this property, Franz Cirillo, the access officer of the city of Lawrence, sent emails to every head of department of the city of Lawrence asking for their response in terms of the needs of that property for their department. So we have that form here, and we currently, we can get a few other response, but most likely, nobody have present interest on the property, even though a lot of the head of department have not responding yet. But most of them say no, whatever the people that respond say no. So councilors, at this point, if there is no questions, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
All right, there is a motion on the table. Can you hear a second?
Second.
Properly second, I call the roll call. Councilor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So the item is going up with a positive recommendation to the full council. So item 423, moving forward the agenda, councilors, item 42322, which is the direct disposition of real estate property of 7 Walnut Street. A few things about this property. This property is located on 7 Walnut Street. It is, the lot size of this property is 3,847 square feet. It is a zoning residential zone, and is a vacant lot. The access value for the property is $9,000. Currently, as it's presented to us in front of us, the property is not a buildable lot, because you still need a portion of property of square footage to be able to be built. The information presented in front of us, we have the correspondence being sent to every department head, which a lot of them have responded with no interest on the property. So this is the direct disposition. And part of the information also, as it's been presented, is that the direct disposition is to be sold to the abutters, which is Moises Camilo and Kelly Camilo. They are present here today. And the direct disposition is, as the access officer just mentioned, any property that is under $35,000. So we're going to extend the opportunity to Franz Cirillo to explain to us a little bit more about 7 Walnut Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 7 Walnut Street is, as you noted, is an unbiddable lot. And the only way to build this lot is by selling it to you, the abutter. The new assessed value for the property is $33,900, which is under the $35,000 threshold. So it could go as a direct disposition.
So, quick question, the direct disposition is going to be with a new assessed value, which is $33,000?
$33,900.
$33,900.
Mhm.
So that's going to be the direct disposition of this property.
And with me are both Mr. and Mrs. Camilo as well. And as I believe I sent you the copies of the plans for the property division. Yes, sir.
Yep. Hi. Yeah, my name is Moises Camilo, and I just, I live in Methuen, Massachusetts right now, 83 Pleasant Valley Street, apartment 406, Methuen. I currently own 11 Warner Street and 9 Warner Street. So the reason I'm here is to try to get a part of the land of 9 Warner and merge it with 7 Warner to make it 5,000 square footage, to make it a buildable lot. And I have plans, I don't know if you want to take a look at it. 11 by 17, so if you want to take a look at it.
So we have presented to us. What is the intention of 7 Walnut Street? The intention is to build and essentially have this piece of parcel, this piece of land going into the
One more thing to note, Mr. Camilo has also been taking care of 7 Walnut Street, even though it hasn't been his property, make sure he's been maintaining it, cleaning it, making sure that any trash that's been thrown on the property has been properly taken care of as well.
So he owns
He owns 9 and 11
and
Walnut
9
Street,
Walnut Street.
but he's also been maintaining 7 Walnut Street
7 Walnut
because
Street.
it's next to his property, and illegal dumping, as you know, we know is a problem in the city. And as a property owner, one of the things he wants to do, make sure that the property is well maintained. So he's been maintaining 7 Walnut Street, even though it has not been his property.
So the difference between that I see with this property is that he's not looking to buy this property as a yard sale.
No.
Square footage. So he's willing to pay the value of the property.
Yes, that's valid,
So
correct.
he can eventually, once he merge 7 Walnut and 9 Walnut, he'll be able to build and have that house as his percentage, a duplex, to go into the tax roll.
Correct.
For the city to be able to make taxes on this.
Correct.
So councilors, there is any questions on 7 Walnut Street? There is another item coming up that is correlated to this item, which is 9 Walnut Street, in a minute. All right, there is no questions. I entertain a motion.
Motion to send.
All right, there is a motion on the table to send item 42322 to the full council with a favorable recommendation for the disposition.
The city attorney always wanted to make sure you said who you saw when the motion is made, who you got the direct disposition to, and the value, and yes, that's all that.
Okay.
Just wanna make sure.
So the motion will be to send it to the full council with a favorable recommendation to sell the property to the applicants, Camilo, Mr. Camilo, for the direct disposition, the price of $33,900. Can I hear a second?
Yeah. Sale shall be pursuant to attached condition which shall be made part of the deed and mortgage covenants. That's the only other part that needs to be added to the motion.
So once we get to the full council, then we
Yep.
include that portion in the meantime, the direct disposition. All right, I call the roll call. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, councilors, we move forward with the agenda. Item 424, 22, which is the direct disposition. For 91 Walnut Street. It's more like
Amendment of vote.
amend the vote, or amend the condition of 9 Walnut Street Did a border to 7 Walnut, and it's in between 7 and 11. It's right to, right next to 9 Walnut Street. It's right next to 7 Walnut Street. We just discussed. So the intention of this item, councilors, is to remove the condition from 9 Walnut for the abutter to be able to take part of the land and merge it to 7 Walnut, so they be able to build the property that they want to build eventually. So the condition set by the city
That was back in...
was
(2006).
back in 2006, the city sold this property, 9 Walnut Street, to Ms. and Mr. Camilo. And now they would like to amend the property. They amend the conditions that we put back then to be able to merge the two lots, the 9 Walnut Street, 7 Walnut Street, into one, so they can build a property. So the conditions are as follow. So do you mind going through the condition, Mr. Sorello?
Sure. The original conditions of the original property was sold as a yard sale to Mr. Camilo back in 2006. And the conditions then were this sale shall be approved under the conditions that are subjected. Real estate can be used only for open space parking or accessory use or structure for an abutting residential property. Accessories use or structure is defined as the use of subordinate building or structure of the use of the lot, which use is customarily incidental to the principal use of the main building or structure, or to the principal use of the lot. For example, a garage, a storage shed, or a swimming pool. An accessory building, structure, or use shall be located on the same lot as the main building or structure of the principal use of the lot. Lawrence Zoning Ordinance, Section 29-4. Number 2, must execute and comply with the purchase and sale agreement with the City of Lawrence within 30 days of the notice of the city of the approval of the sale of the property. The city reserves the right to waive or extend the deadlines. Number 3, must submit an approval not required form, a subdivision plan merging the city-owned lot with the lot owned by the applicant to be reviewed and approved by the land use planner within 30 days of the execution of the purchase of and sales agreement. The city reserves the right to extend this deadline. Number 4, must submit a landscape plan to be reviewed and approved by the land use planner within 30 days of the execution of the purchase and sale agreement. The city reserves the right to waive or extend the deadline. Number 5, must include a storm water management plan to be reviewed and approved by the land use planner within 30 days of the execution of the purchase and sales agreement. The city reserves the right to waive or extend the deadlines. Number 6, must comply with all zoning and building permits, rules, and regulations.
All right, there is a few restrictions here that we need to waive. As the item state, this is to amend conditions of 9 Walnut Street, which was sold back in 2016.
2006.
2006?
16.
16?
Yes.
Okay.
Council, there is any questions on regard to item 14.4.22? All right, I hear no questions in regard to amending the conditions for this lot. Councilor, I entertain a motion at this point.
Motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
All right, I hear a motion to send it to the full council with a
Second.
favorable recommendation, and it is been properly second. Any questions? Since there is none, I call the roll call. Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So our next meeting will take place we have a meeting on December 20. So please be present on that meeting in case that
20th?
we have,
Okay.
in case we have any questions, no. So the meeting happened on the first meeting of December. The second meeting, no, give me 1 second. The first meeting happened on
The 6th.
6th. So the second meeting of this month will be on the 20. So the next meeting will be December 20. So please be here present in case council have any questions. We have one more item on the agenda, which is item 42522, which is the declaration of surplus of property located on 8892 Oxford Street. Just a few things about this property. This property is, the map is 165 lot 18. The lot area is 4,498 square feet. This is a parking lot. And the access value for this property is $171,200. So this is to declare a surplus. So we extend the opportunity to Francisco, the access officer, to explain to us a little more about this property.
Good evening, council. Frank, here before you, once again, before we could start looking at disposing of any property needs to be declared surplus. That means that we could contact every department head in the city to make sure there was no use from the city, and then proceed to come to the council for a declaration of surplus. The property we're looking at is 88-92 Oxford Street. There's currently a structure on there, garages, and the abutters have actually broken down the gate and are using it as parking. The property assessed value is currently over $1,503.800, which is over the 35,000, which is 35,000, over 35,000 and up. The new tax assessed values are being certified now, so by the time that we come to the next full council, you'll get an updated amount on the property that's been at this property.
I can tell you about this property. It's been an issue in terms of illegal dumping on that specific location for quite some time now. And I know that the city has been very active about picking up trash and trying to keep up the area clean. This is within my district, so it is a big issue up there. So selling this property to a better use and having this property on the tax roll will be very important. As you can see, councilors, there is currently a couple of garages, a building for garages, which are in very bad condition at this point. So councilors, I extend the opportunity to, if you have any questions to Mr. Zurillo, he's here with us in terms of this property. Councilors, something that we have in our package is that these, as any other surplus declaration, Mr. Zurillo have sent the form of any department head to ensure that there is no need for the city of Lawrence for this property. A lot of them have responded, others have not. But an email, any communication, and I believe, how many times you have sent those notifications?
Oh, about 2-3 times. This property should have been before you were back in September.
So about 2 to 3 times?
Yeah.
So every department head has been contacted more than once, at least 2 times, sometimes 3 times, for them to respond in sense of the need of the property for the city of Lawrence. As of this point, all of the response that we have been negative. Others have not responded yet. Councilors, any questions in regard to this item on 4/25/2022, which is the declaration of the surplus of 8892 Oxford Street? All right, I hear no question. Can I get a motion?
Motion to send with favor recommendation to the full council.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
Perfect. I got a motion on the table to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation. There is any questions in regard to this? I hear none, so I call the roll call. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
And I vote affirmative. All right, councilors, we have one.
Yep. Mhm.
What is the item?
Yep, 323-22.
All right, councilors, there is one more item on the agenda out of the table matters. Item 323, 22, which is the reversal of a vote for disposition of the real estate through a yard sale of 810 Archer Street. So councilors, can I get a motion to take this item out of the table matters?
So move.
Table properly second. I call the roll call. Councilor Infante?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So councilors, as far as I understand this item, this is a property that we already bought before to sell this property to the previous owner of a house right next to it, right next a border of 810 Archer Street. The house, since then, the person that we did the disposition to never did the closing, and the property was sold to another person. So what we're looking to do at this point is to reverse the vote that we took back then to do the disposition to what person specifically? What was the name of it?
We're looking to rescind the vote for Oscar Interiano, the former owner of 12 Archer Street. He then since told the city attorney he's not interested in the property, and he has sold his property of 12 Archer Street to the person who came before us for the yard sale. This is in order for us to finish doing the yard sale to the new owners. We have to rescind this vote.
So essentially, councilors, the person never did the closing, and now we need to rescind the vote that we took back then about almost a year ago, right?
About 2010, October, docket number 80-10.
All right, I thought that was closer, but 2010.
Yeah,
All right. Since 2010, the person never did a closing on this property. So we're looking to rescind the vote that the council back then in 2010 took to do the direct disposition or the yard sale to this person. So councilors, the intention is to sell this property to the current owner of 910 Archer Street.
12 Archer Street.
12 Archer Street. There is any question in regard to this item? Hi, councilors, I will entertain the motion to rescind the vote that the council took back in 2010 to sell this property to the current owner of 12 Archer Street. Okay, I'll entertain the motion to rescind the vote first. Councilor.
Yes, I did.
All right.
Second.
There is a motion on the table, which is to rescind the vote of the property of 810 Archer Street
To Oscar Interiano.
to Oscar Terriano. That happened back in 2010. So that's the motion. So it is properly second. Any questions in regard to this? Okay, here no questions, so I call the roll call. Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Infante,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
No, that was already,
We did the disposition.
yes. This is in order for us to finish the sale on 810 Archer Street as the yard sale.
All right, councilors, at this point, we have no more items on the agenda, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second. I call the roll call. Councilor Infante,
Yes.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Thank you, councilors, and I see you next Tuesday.